Gravity Falls Season 2, Episode 17, Dipper and Mabel versus the Future, the final episode before the three-part finale. See, this is more the kind of episode I would expect leading up to the finale of a series. Dipper and Mabel's 13th birthday party, as well as the end of summer vacation, are fast approaching. Dipper and Mabel are both very excited about this. They're going to be teenagers, and it won't be long now before they go on to high school, something that both of them are really excited about. The two of them are, in fact, so excited that they go out of their way to make plans to try and rent out the high school gymnasium for a huge end-of-summer birthday bash where they will invite the entire town. However, as they are getting ready to leave to do so, Ford asks for Dipper's help in securing a special adhesive to seal the container holding the spatial rift. Mabel is entirely okay with him going, and so they part ways for the remainder of the day. But throughout the course of this day, Mabel has a really rough time. She learns that her friends are both going to be out of town, not only on her birthday, but when it comes time for her to go home, they're not going to be able to see her off. And after talking to Wendy, she learns a lot of things about high school that paint it in a negative light, and she stops being excited about that either. And things are about to get much worse for her. While off with Ford, Dipper has a marvelous time. He and Ford go to, what are they called, the floating cliffs, and learn where their unique damage came from. The giant cracks in the cliff were caused by the crash of a giant UFO, the same giant UFO which crashed in that location millions of years ago and dug out the entire valley in which Gravity Falls is located. That's the kind of twist that I genuinely didn't see coming, and it was very exciting. I was right there with Dipper, swept up in the excitement of that moment. It's revealed that this alien ship is something that Ford has been raiding for parts for years. In fact, he got all the exotic components he needed to build the portal from this ship, and that the aliens use an adhesive which is strong enough to hold the pieces of their ship together, even while flying through intergalactic space. That's the adhesive that he plans to use to seal the rift. However, they accidentally reactivate the ship's security and they're attacked by these floating droids. Dipper is unable to control his fear. That's how the droids track you, is by fear. And he gets Ford captured. Ford gives him the rift container and tells him to go and seal the rift. But Dipper, of course, frees Ford instead. And throughout the course of all this, Ford has asked Dipper to be his apprentice, to stay in Gravity Falls, to drop out of school, and become his apprentice, someone who can continue his research for him once he's gone. And after the excitement of everything that's happened, he agrees, but Mabel is able to overhear everything. Before Dipper left, she gave him a backpack with a walkie-talkie in it. She went throughout her day with a matching backpack and the matching walkie-talkie. So when she is at her worst, she overhears through the walkie-talkie Dipper agreeing to stay. She had just been reassured by Stan that she would always have Dipper, and now that's not true. She confronts him that night at home and then runs off into the woods, grabbing her backpack before she goes, except she didn't grab her backpack. She grabbed Dipper's by mistake, and Dipper's had the rift in it. So when Blendon, the time traveler, shows up and offers her a way to create a time loop where she and Dipper can relive their summer as many times as they want, a favor for a favor, since she has done a favor for him before, she is of course taken by the idea. And when he tells her that he needs a device that looks just like the rift container, since she doesn't know what it is or that the rift even exists, of course, when she fishes around in her backpack and finds it, she gives it to him, only for it to be revealed that Blendon was possessed by Bill Cipher. The build-up and the staging in this scene was great. You really feel for Mabel. You understand where she's coming from in this situation. This time loop thing, if you can create it with technology, you should be able to undo it with technology too, so what's the harm in getting a couple more summers out of this before moving on with her life? She's been growing apart from Dipper ever since Ford showed up. The fact that she didn't know what the rift looked like proves that. And so while she definitely made a mistake, she can't fully be blamed, though the fact remains that she handed the rift container to someone possessed by Bill, and he breaks it open, releasing the rift, ushering in the Weird Mageddon. This episode was fantastic. The plot wasn't all that complex, but considering we haven't gotten a whole lot of build-up to Weird Mageddon yet, it was great to see an entire episode dedicated to building it up. Not to mention the fact that this episode also served to once again highlight the parallels between Dipper and Ford and Mabel and Stan. Just like what happened with Stan and his brother. Now Mabel's brother is growing apart from her, is moving on with his life and leaving her behind. And then there was Bill. We didn't get much of him in this episode, of course, but holy crap, how devious was this plan. First of all, he somehow got a hold of a time traveler from the distant future. I'd like to know how he did that. I don't know if we're ever going to see it explained, but I certainly hope that we do. And then he waited until Mabel was at her lowest point and took advantage of her. I can only imagine how bad Mabel is going to feel after all of this. How much she's going to blame herself and what kind of effect that's going to have on her and everyone else. There is still a little bit of an issue here though. This episode, just like some of the previous episodes this season, still felt a little rushed. It was really good, and the scene with Bill at the end was very well staged and very well paced, but the rest of the episode felt like it was playing catch-up for an entire half season that just didn't have enough build-up to its end. The entire purpose of this episode was to set the stage for Weirdmageddon, and it did that. It did that, and it did it well. I am very anxious to go and watch the 3-part finale now, but unfortunately, I can't, because I did promise you guys that I would do a live reaction to it. This review is going to be going up on Monday the 24th, and because Weirdmageddon is 3 episodes, I don't feel like just a few days is enough for me to decide on everything I want to talk about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the live stream where I live react to Weirdmageddon on Friday, instead of posting a Gravity Falls review on that Friday. And then I will review Weirdmageddon the following Friday, or earlier if I manage to get the review done earlier. I'm super excited to share this experience with you guys. My last live reaction was a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's here. The show's over. So you can imagine my feelings are a little mixed. All of that said though, guys, what did you think of this episode? If you have seen it, let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.